Welcome back to No Nonsense. It's just yourself and myself here today. Will is not here. He's at the Riyadh Football Podcast Festival. I would love to be there. It's not that I object. I fully support Will's choice to go over there and grow the game of football podcasting. Specifically our podcast, hopefully. But yeah, I couldn't make it. I had other things going on. I couldn't go. So Will's over there representing the podcast, representing the No Nonsense, trying to grow the game of football podcasting. And yeah, I think it's great. I think it's an amazing event. I think it's the biggest football podcast festival ever, actually. So that's huge, and hopefully it's huge for us. I said this to the organisers at the time as well. The only thing I would say about it was the name, the Riyadh Football Podcast Festival. I thought, why not call it the Mahrez Football Podcast Festival, or even the Riyadh Mahrez Football Podcast? But the organizer said that he really liked the name Riyadh Football Podcast Festival, so that's what they went with. I just thought, with the other thing, it had negative connotations, but look, the man knows what he wants.
I'm just the guy who pays.
We'll be back next week, so it's just us for the time being. But look, plenty of stuff to be happy about. Plenty of news that happened during the week. If you're an Arsenal fan, too much, too soon, perhaps?
There was once a dream that was Rome. You could only whisper it. Anything more than a whisper, and it would vanish. It was so fragile. And I fear that it will not survive the winter.
If you're a Man United fan, the famine is over. The hard times are over. Good times are now here. There's been a switch. The pendulum has swung all the way back. It's over. Everything's good again. Cunha, probably better than Ronaldo. Definitely ahead of likes of Teddy Sheringham and Dwight York. He's probably one of the best strikers, best players they've ever had. Mbeumo, of course, as well. Or Mbeumo, sorry. He's up there too. One of the best. They're back.
Man United are back.
And maybe you're just one of these kind of haters, generational haters. It's very trendy to be a hater right now, to be a hate watcher. So you've got Liverpool losing, Chelsea losing, City losing. So there's a lot to look forward to, a lot to be looking at. Maybe you were watching the Classico. Maybe you're a Real Madrid fan. I mean, that was a sweet one. Dear God. They really showed that 17-year-old, where he was in the Bernabeu. But yeah, we got lots to talk about. I'm going to talk about, I suppose, Liverpool first, because it is the most interesting one. The way it's the complete opposite of last year. Last year, everyone thought they were going to struggle. Who is this Arne Slott guy? What's this all about? And, he can't follow Klopp. Salah's contract, Van Dijk's contract, Alexander-Arnold. Can he defend? Is he any good at defending? That was a question people kept asking. No one kind of felt that they were going to, push on and win the league. I think people probably felt Arsenal would win the league last year. And as I say, now this year it's completely reversed. Now it's Arsenal's league to lose. And everyone's saying, I can't believe how bad Liverpool are. But yeah, the fourth game in a row they lost. Fifth overall, fourth in the league. I don't know. I'm losing count. I'm losing track of how many games Liverpool have lost. So I suppose the question is, are they in trouble? And I don't think so. We've seen this week. Tottenham had a great win against Everton, and they're like skyrocketing back to the top of the league. Man United, I know, I jest, but they're back up to 6th or 7th. After like a disastrous start. After everyone was saying, that was that article in the Guardian where they were like, Ruben Amorin would be gone in any other club. He can't keep getting away with this. It was essentially the tone of the article and the tone of a lot of things I've seen. And now they're back. So Arsenal's title to lose, which I saw Gary Neville said in his podcast, and I've seen a few other people who I would class as bad actors trying to put Arsenal under pressure, trying to say, look, it's theirs to lose. I mean, 9 games in, that's like a quarter of it, not even a quarter of the league of 38 games. So you're talking the first half of the first half in terms of a game of football. you're talking, 20 minutes in, 24 minutes in, no less than that, 20 to 21 minutes in the game, and Arsenal have had the most possession. That's where they're at. Liverpool, they're on the back foot, we'll say. That's the equivalent of where we are in the season. So to say that Liverpool are finished, they're out of the title race, to say Arsenal have it wrapped up, it's too early. It's too early for that. I mean, I don't know, was it a couple of years ago where Arsenal were, I think they had 50 points in the first half of the season or something like that, maybe 60 points. 60 is maybe too much. Maybe only 40 points. But they had it wrapped up maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago, and then it switched. And this is the same team, and maybe they're a bit better, and they're obviously very solid and all the rest of it. And yeah, I know I started talking about Liverpool, then I immediately switched to Arsenal. But yeah, I'm rattled. What can I say? I'm worried that Arsenal top the league, and people are starting to say it's over, because I know what they're doing. I know they're trying to get it to be bad, because was it 4 points clear of Bournemouth? I think it's Bournemouth in second. I know Sunderland were second after their winning against Chelsea. Hilarious Brian Brobbery. Daylight Brobbery, is that too on the nose? But the winning goal, Brian Brobbery standing there for 2 minutes. Fair play, they've done great. But it's not even that. You're saying, they're 6 points clear of Liverpool and City. It's like it's anybody behind Arsenal. That's the fear. Sorry, it's tough. Look, when you got no one to reel you in, you just start to ramble. The question I asked, are Liverpool in trouble? The answer, I think it's no. I mean, for one, and this is doing a lot of heavy lifting, but the goal Salah scored, Genie Mac, there's just not that many players out there who can do that. The finish from that goal was unbelievable. And look, I think Salah, as old as myself, I think he's maybe a year older than me, so I have time. Maybe this is my last good season. I hope not. But point is, right, last season he said, look, I'm not going to track back, but I'm going to score you enough goals to win the league. That's what they did. This season, they've kind of, I mean, the Wirtz Salah thing, that seems to be the big issue. Can they play in the same team? Probably not. Not if Salah's not going to track back, because then Wirtz has to track back. He's an old school number 10. I mean, old school, I mean like a 2010s era number 10, where he plays in the pockets, he scores goals, he gets assists. His output at the top of the field means that don't worry about defending, right? He does enough going forward. But you can't have two people in there who say don't worry about defending, because someone has to defend, especially if you got Conor Bradley or Frimpong behind him. It's just not going to work. So you can only have one of them, But yeah, my point being that Salah, 33, he's a bit older, but there's still a lot to give. And it's kind of remind me of when Ronaldo came back to United at that time. That was the players they had, for better or for worse. And I think Liverpool in the same way. Look, you have Salah, you have to build a team around him. There's goodness in him, but like it's all or nothing. You either get it or you don't. He's not going to be someone who's going to track back and work for the team. Unfortunately, it's like he will score you goals. You can make him track back, but he's going to break down. He might get you 10, 11 goals. I don't think he wants to do it either, so he mightn't even. And then if he breaks down, then you bring in Frimpong, and maybe that's the best thing to do. But like, I think it's either you play him and you say, look, we're going to build a team around Salah. Wirtz, you're going to have to do a lot more tracking back this season. But I mean, he's not that kind of player either. I think they're a step ahead themselves. Maybe they were bringing, you know what? If they had brought in Wirtz before Salah's on the contract, I would have given them some kind of like, look, they were just covering their arse. But Salah signs a huge contract. He's back next year. You got to say we're building a team around him. And if you're bringing in Wirtz or someone like that, it's just not going to work. And look, if they don't sign Wirtz last year, he probably goes to Bayern Munich, especially after Musiala got injured. That was the obvious replacement. Now you have them both there. You got the player who's got something to give, a season or two left, and then you got Wirtz, who's kind of his replacement. But not only that is he his replacement, he's going to change the team fundamentally in how they play. So yeah, they have to figure it out, and that's not even getting into the Isaac stuff. I mean, look, whatever. I think that was mad. I don't think they needed Isak and Ekitike because they're both really good. They're both starters. They're both starting number 9s, and he didn't want to play with 2 up front. So it's just there's some kind of disconnect there between the recruitment, the management, the tactics, what they wanted to do. But it's not that it's not that the players aren't good enough. It'd be worse if they just had 11 players there who weren't good enough for the league, and they were going to get they weren't going to go anywhere with these players. There's something to figure out there for sure, but there is a way around it. There is something that you can do. And I mean, this time last year, I think it was a PSG were getting hammered in the Champions League. And I think maybe on this podcast, me and Will were saying, where do they go from here? It's over. They're not going to do anything. Or maybe that was after the Dortmund semi-final loss. I don't know. I think they'd sold Mbappe and nothing was going right. They lost, the main man, Ugarte. But yeah, by the end of the year, they had figured it out. They don't play with number 9. I think they played Doué up front, Barcola, Dembélé. None of them are proper number 9. So again, a Leicester manager looked at it and said, I don't have a number 9. What can I do? But I think there's good enough players there at Liverpool that they can figure this out. I don't think it's over. I think, and if you want even a better example or a more relevant example, City last year, I said they wouldn't finish top 4. We jumped the gun. I was like, they're playing so badly. The players aren't good enough. I think Liverpool are probably in that same bracket. Now, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the next 5 fixtures they've had. It's like Real Madrid, Crystal Palace in the Cup and in the Champions League. I think the best City in the league. They play the now newly named Sean Dyche's Nottingham Forest. Not that made much odds this weekend, but there's tough games coming, but there's tough games because it's Liverpool, because every game they play it's going to be tough. And the Slot coming out telling everybody play long balls against us, I have no idea how to solve that. That doesn't help either. And that's, if you were going to be cynical, you'd say that's the question mark. Slot having a complete meltdown over this long ball tactic stuff doesn't strike you as somebody's going to figure this out. But I just think it's not as bad as the players aren't good enough. Like Kirkes is getting a hard time, but like Andy Robertson's right there. I know he got a hard time last year, but I mean, it's not that they have a massive injury crisis. I know McAllister's injured at the moment, and maybe they're a bit light in the middle in terms of replacements, but I think they'll be good. Yeah, and then conversely, one's on the way down, one's on the way up, or certainly feels that way. And I'll hold my hands up. I said if they beat Brighton, that'll mean something, because they always lose to Brighton. Daniel Welbeck always scores, which he did again, and it was 3-2, or it was 4-2, sorry, I misspeak. It was 4-2. It was 3-2, and then they got that goal in the end. And one of the goals was a deflection. And look, you have to take that bit of luck. And also you have to take that bit of luck and ignore that bit of luck and say, we're back. You have to be deluded. You need these things to believe in. You can't just... When you're going badly like that, you can't just come back. You need a bit of luck like that, and you have to just say that's because we're doing the right things. That's because the system and the tactics actually worked the whole time. It was just us, the players. They were bad. I don't know what they're saying themselves or what they actually think. But look, 4-2 win at home. 3 games on the bounce. All after the talk was 2 games they couldn't win in a row. I know we're all thinking of that guy with the big haircut. I mean, for him, for example, I saw a Brighton reaction guy who's obviously gone super viral now before the game, because he was saying this is going to be easy. We're going to hammer Man United. We always do. We're going to beat them. We're going to stop this train in its tracks. And obviously they didn't. And now this guy's face everywhere. For a normal person, you go, wow, that sounds like a nightmare I might have on a Sunday evening before work or school. But for this guy, this is what he wants. He wants to go super viral. Maybe I should say something crazy that would make me go viral.
You're a little fucking...
I think Will would love that. The point is that the haircut guy, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just haven't learned his name because I haven't. But if this ends, where does he go from here? If Man United win 5 games in a row, he cuts his hair, that's it. it's over. I mean, what else is there? I haven't heard anything else from him. I haven't heard any interesting takes. You know, he's going to just become the I didn't do it boy. He's like, oh, the hair. I mean, you'll see the hair reveal. That'll be great. I'll get a few clips out of that. But I mean, once Man United win 5 games in a row and the hair goes, there must be part of him that's thinking, I don't want that to happen. A little bit more maybe does want it to happen because his hair is huge now. It's massive. But once that's over, he cuts the hair. I'd probably see a lot of unfollowers, I would guess. So, yeah, look, I'm thinking of him, but I'm also thinking, what's his next move? I'm interested to see where he goes from here once they get it. I don't know what the next fixtures are, but like I say, they're believing again. They're deluded. They think it's all going well, and they can't be stopped. I think, honestly, if they don't lose to Brighton, that's a huge step in the right direction. I think if they had lost the game to Liverpool, and then they go play Brighton, the team they always lose to, that's in your head. I know there's new players in that don't carry that same thing, but it always happens. You lose to a team, and that becomes your bogey team. I did see a few people talking about Liverpool have to play Crystal Palace in the cup next, and it's like, of all teams, the team that always has our number. So, yeah, I don't know where this puts us. The only team really that's been consistently good is Arsenal. But it's a long season, and like I say, we're about 20 minutes into the game. That's all we are. So I don't think you can count your chickens yet if you're an Arsenal fan. But they have been good. They have been very strong defensively. They're coming under a lot of flack for that. But I think it's been so long at this point. Like, this is not Barcelona we're talking about, or City, or even Liverpool. I think there's maybe a little bit of pressure on Liverpool to play well and win. Like, Arsenal have not won since 03 or 04, like 20 plus years. For Arsenal, the way you want this to go is you want to be out in front by 25 points. You want every other team to continue this kind of inconsistent form where, you know, you lose a game here and there. Arsenal just 1-0 to Arsenal. 1-0 to Arsenal. Back to their roots. You want to get to end of January, 25 points clear. You want the bookies paying out. You want people to kind of lament how bad everyone else has been. It's been a weak league. Because they are going to get nervy. Because it's going to be all the talk. It's like 20 plus years. I mean, the players that won the league for Arsenal in 03-04, I mean, I think Fabregas may have been on the squad. He's now manager of Como. He's been retired for years. I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers that move to Barcelona. That was a lifetime ago. It's like, that's how long it's been. No one's still playing from that team. No one's still playing from that era. Well, I guess Ronaldo is still playing from that era. But no real humans are playing from that era, you know. It's a memory at this point. So if they grind their way to it with 22 goals and set pieces, breaking Chelsea's record, which I bet they won't. I did see a stat that they had one shot on target in all of October. So they're grinding it out. But look, this is what you do when you have 1 in 20 years. They won't give a fuck. I mean, I challenge you, if you're a Man United fan of this, what was Man United's best playing season? What do we all agree that was the best, you know, season of football that Man United played? I don't know. I didn't watch the games. I didn't see those seasons. And there's no like collective memory where you say, oh, it was, you know, 1 or 2 or 96, 97. That was the best team. That was the best football they played. It's like, no, they just count the wins. Arsenal are trying to get back on the win list. Get that number. Were they on 13 or something like that? Some lucky number like that. They're trying to get up to 14 or whatever it is. I don't know what it exactly is, but no one's going to care. You know, I mean, yeah, Klopp played great football. He won the hearts and minds. And those City Liverpool games, we've talked about this before as well. They were great games, but this is the first one in a long time. This is the first for this team, the first for this manager, the first for probably anybody working in the club, I'd imagine, at the, you know, management, upper management level. They're not going to care, and no one's going to remember how you won it. You know, they're throwing the set piece stuff at you now, but I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, that's just them trying to rattle you. Like people awarding Arsenal the title after 9 games. They don't believe that, first of all. They're just trying to rattle them. So, yeah, for Arsenal, they need to put as much points in between the other teams while they're floundering, while they're not being consistent themselves. And then when it gets to, them sorting out, because I do think City will figure it out. They'll get a run like they did last year. I think Liverpool the same. Man United, they are starting to figure it out. I don't know if they're going to go on a run. I think there's just too many flaws in that team still. But I think with Arsenal, it's the jitters. You're going to get the jitters. And if Man United are coming close, and everybody talking about it, and rightly so, because it's Man United, it's a huge team, everyone's going to want to hear about it. If they're like within 3 points, a game in hand, they go top of the league. Whether they're still there by May, it doesn't matter. That's what it's going to take for Arsenal. Ideally, they won't have any challengers. I think that's just, for a team that's been marked with, we'll say mental weakness. You want it as easy as possible, that first one. You wanted just people to get out of your way and to let you do your set pieces, let you do your grinding out. And I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think for Arsenal, that's what you want. So, yeah, it's again, I keep saying it, we're 20 minutes into the game. Think of it that way. Well, further afield, La Liga, Real Madrid versus Barcelona, the Classico. Not as big as it was. I guess the two teams aren't the teams they were. I suppose it was. I was about to say, I'm trying to think when it was its biggest. Obviously, when Ronaldo and Messi were there. That was... I think now we're in the time of just enjoy them both. Like that famous Rio Ferdinand meme, just enjoy them both, man. Because they're going to be gone someday. They are gone someday. That day is today. And now we're left with Lamine Yamal and I guess Mbappe, which is still pretty good, but different eras, different generations. But yeah, I watched some of this game. I watched the extended highlights. I watched all the controversy, of course, afterwards, and it was like a bit of a throwback to those prime Barcelona Real Madrid Clásicos. The biggest thing is Lamine Yamal. Now, I don't know how chronically online you are, but I certainly am. There's loads of these memes going around of Lamine Yamal. He's supposedly out of control. He's too cocky. He's crazy. And all these posts of people being like, if I was the third choice keeper for anyone, this is, and then it's like Project X clips spliced in. He's unbelievable. I mean, I think I'm not sure, was it a fail comp or was it just all his touches in the game? He was being converged on. Yamal was being converged on by 2, 3, sometimes 4 players at once. Everyone got the ball. But whatever at the times he skipped by players or played really good balls to people, just the sheer amount of times he was on the ball. I mean, everything seemed to go through him. Like Rashford was on the other side. I think Rafinha was injured. The team itself, I think it was Ferran Torres up front, which obviously they must be missing Lewandowski. I think there's Ferran Lopez, Pedri, and Frankie de Jong in the middle, which is solid, but it's not, in terms of co-stars. If you're thinking of Messi when he was 17, the players he had around him, Eto'o, Henry, Ronaldinho at the start, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets. I mean, now look, maybe these players will go on to be players at that level. I don't think they will, but it's all down on Yamal. But sorry, I'm going around the circles here. What I'm trying to say is that before the game, apparently he gets asked questions, he answers them. There was something about some live stream he did with Piqué where he kind of insinuated that Real Madrid were robbers and they cheated and stole and were kind of bastards, which, I mean, if you saw them after the game celebrating, they didn't seem like good guys. They weren't humble, You're either always in a state of being humble or about to be humbled. You either say, look, things are good, I'm doing my best, or you're not, and someone's about to come along and take it down a peg or two. And yeah, I guess Yamal is now in the he's being humbled. I guess there's a third section of you're being humbled, but you're either humble or about to be humbled. He's being humbled, which is the third section. I think Real Madrid are now in the section where they're about to be humbled. Essentially, they they were going from their Southampton playing. I think he's come back from a groin injury. I think that's why he wasn't playing against Newcastle. That's why Rashford was playing that time. So he's this 17-year-old kid who talks too much. I think he also said something like, Real Madrid kid talked to me when they beat me, because I beat them 4 times last year. The guy's won the Euros. He came second the Ballon d'Or. He's 17 years of age. Yeah, he's a bit cocky. But I mean, it would be weird if he wasn't. You know, Messi, we've all seen the videos of Messi. There's something there. There's a spectrum that he's on. There's something happening there. Because before it was like, oh, maybe it was social media or whatever. But I mean, his idol was Ronaldinho, and the guy never said a word. He never seemed to say anything out of place. He never ever seemed to rile up these Real Madrid guys. He used to just go out there and fucking take names, you know, take souls from people, and then just walk off the pitch staring at the. That's probably the most action I've ever seen Messi give, was when he was walking off the pitch that time, looking up the 5-0. That was the only time he ever gave somebody any kind of shit back I can think of. That's a Barcelona player. But yeah, Yamal's asked these things. Again, Messi was never streaming when he was 17. Maybe that wouldn't have helped. He might have said something there, but yeah. So Barcelona lose 2-1. I think Mbappe had the ball in net 3 times, but only one of them counted. He then got a penalty. He missed the penalty as well. But yeah, he's cooking. He's cooking over there. From the clips I saw, Vinicius was just like tracking back, putting in tackles, winning the ball back, dispossessing Yamal. That was his main job. And Mbappe is now the star. So I guess they'll figure that out. I thought personally it's going to be either Mbappe or Vinicius, and no one wants that. Neither of them want that. But maybe Vinicius' star has fallen a bit. I'm not sure where he finished in the Ballon d'Or last year. Obviously didn't win the Champions League last year, so that wouldn't have helped his chances. It's kind of all about international tournament or Champions League, and he won neither. So yeah, he seems to be happy enough to just be on that side. Although I think I did hear something about him storming off. Again, I didn't see the game until the highlights. But yeah, Yamal was being targeted, and then after the game, he goes to shake hands with his country captain, Danny Carvajal, who came on as a sub. Side note, I don't think Alexander-Arnold got to play at all. So, you know, I'll discuss the right back power rankings with Will when he's back, but something to think about. So yeah, Yamal to come off the pitch. Danny Carvajal is given this one. He's given the you talk too much. He's lifting his finger and his hand up in a mouthy action, saying you talk too much. Yamal kind of goes, all right, man, cheers for that. You know, thanks, captain, and then walks off. And then there's kind of a few things, you know, said back to each other, you know, back over the shoulder, and then a few more things. They're both kind of walking away, and then I think Camavinga comes in. Don't know why he was doing anything. He comes in and he's like, all right, get the fuck out, you know. And Yamal's like, don't touch me. Don't touch me, okay? Don't let me remind you of the Euros where I owned you and your entire team of superstars, supposed superstars. You don't get to touch me, you know. I don't know. We don't know each other like that, okay? You don't get to touch me. He gets agitated. Then of course all the Barcelona players who are, you know, they're looking at him like he's Messi. He's like, that's our Messi. We can't have them like targeting him all game, us being shit. And now after the game they're putting hands on him. Don't think so. So they're running. Meanwhile, Courtois is already also running in. I guess he wants a piece. And it's into some pushing and shoving. A lot of mouthing. Yamal at this point is like, right, I'm out of here. I'll let my minions do my dirty work for me. You guys take this. Rafinha comes running in at one stage. He's not Tog, but he's fucking, you know, he's part of it. Rudiger obviously is also in there. And I should say this all started with a red card to Pedri. He came in flying in, and Andre Lunin was on the bench, and he started giving it large to the fucking Barcelona bench. At this point, all the other Real Madrid alpha dogs, Bellingham, who scored one of the most obnoxious goals I've seen in a long, long time. Probably the most obnoxious goal I've seen since the Balotelli shoulder bump. This Bellingham goal, I'd take a few minutes to look up the highlights. He kind of just, he's in the right place, right time. He scores it and then kind of walks off like an obnoxious ass. It's incredible kind of shithousery. These are the guys who, you know, like I say, humble or about to be humbled. Or you are humbled. 3 areas. You are humbled, about to be humbled, or you're humble, you know. So yeah, it all kicks off on the bench, and then they're all just really pissed off about this whole this Yamal guy, talking as if he's, you know, the second best player in the world or something. But yeah, great entertainment. Well, my overall point is I'm not complaining. This is great, okay? Because maybe they're not the teams they were, but I feel like Yamal has maybe single-handedly brought back the Classico. You know, because before it was like Barcelona were way better, then Real Madrid were way better. It kind of switched, you know, in between. There was nothing that they could fight over. But if Yamal is going to continue going on Twitch talking shit about Real Madrid, and then, you know, he's come back from injury, I'd say if he was fit and they have like one or two more players of the quality needed, it could be a right El Derby. So yeah, look, fair play to Yamal, fair play to Real Madrid for getting so rattled. And yeah, I'm not sure what the league is looking like there. Last thing I saw about the league was Real Madrid getting hammered by Atletico Madrid 4-2, but I don't remember seeing any crisis articles, so I think they're probably doing alright. So yeah, I look forward to the next Classico, the second installment of this, where hopefully Mal's is fitter and Barcelona players are a bit more fucking better to give them a hand. So look, folks, that's your Bank Holiday Monday pod. It's a bit late today. It's early man's game, this Bank Holiday onwards. Clocks go back, so the first day is great, extra hour bed. After that, you're going to want to get out of the bed because it's dark at fucking 5 o'clock. So yeah, you're going to want to start getting up, ice baths, red light therapy for the vitamin C, or is it D? Sauna, anyways. You want to get the sauna in. I'm going to be on the saunas. The winter arc starts here. You know, we're going to be just doing a lot of sprint work, red light therapy. I got one of those guns for the vitamin C and or D. Saunas, cold plunges, yeah, cold showers maybe not the cold plunge, but and it's all going to happen from 6 to 9. And then it's just kind of winding down for the day because, again, it's dark by 12 o'clock. So that's great because it means more time to listen to podcasts like this, you know. Speaking of which, I'll be back Thursday. I'm going to do one Thursday. There's League Cup stuff going on. There's decent games in the League Cup. I think I mentioned there Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Newcastle play fucking City. Could be. Look it up. Look up the games there. They're the ones I'll be talking about. I'll be watching it. Will's going to be wrapping up at the Riyadh Mahrez Football Podcasts, a.k.a. the Riyadh Football Podcast Festival in Letterkenny. And he'll be back next week. And yeah, back to normal programming then. But listen, thanks for listening. Thanks for your support. And for the ultras, I will see you on patreon.com/nonsense-pod on Thursday. $4.50 a month, sign up. If not, no worries at all. I will see you next week for more exciting Premier League football reaction response. That could be shorter, but that's what it is. Good luck.